full disclosure, the voice you are listening to now is artificially generated, brought to you by satisphonic.com. See the link in the description for more details. What outdated or obsolete tech are you still using and are perfectly happy with? Printers that could print without a subscription. I have a brother color laser that I got about 4 years ago. It's a fucking champ. Truth, The Verge nailed it a few months ago. Best printer 2023. Just buy this brother laser printer everyone has. It's fine. That article is hilarious, and I appreciate how quickly it gets straight to the point. And here's 275 words about printers I asked Chacha to write, so this post ranks in search because Google thinks you have to pad out articles in order to demonstrate authority. But I am telling you to just buy whatever brother laser printer is on sale and never think about printers again. Leo, amazing. I ordered a charger for my old D's Lite, came out 2006. Last week and damn did I miss it. The D's Age of Empires, old Pokemon games, I'm having a blast. D's Lite was peak Nintendo handheld, emo. I collect pink Nintendo handhelds, so I have 2 of them. I bought one, coral pink, in 2007 with my first paycheck, and I bought the other metallic rose or whatever in 2012 when I worked at GameStop. They both still play like they're brand new. And I loved the game a lot, so I could still play my faves like Golden Sun and do the trade from Gen 3 to Gen 4 in Pokemon. Adobe Kes4, screw the monthly subscriptions. Screw monthly subscriptions. Screw monthly subscriptions. All my homies hate monthly subscription. I still have Sesix in a Mad Max Last of the Vates style. It has more functionality than I can ever use. Some of those sweet A fills and removal tools look great in the new subscription versions, but it's my firm belief that none of them actually work properly, so I am not missing out. Recently swapped up from Kesix to Creative Cloud since Essex could no longer access the new format from our photographer's camera. And I will say that the sweet A fill does actually work really well. It's kinda handy to just be able to highlight a section and type in whatever I want to magically appear there or disappear from there. My Sega Genesis and PlayStation 2 Slim are still plugging along fine and still are fun. Physical buttons. Not everything needs to be touchscreen, for goodness sake. I feel like it's safer to have car radios that have buttons instead of screens. It's easier for me to push a button to change the music while keeping my eyes on the road. I can't do that if my car has a screen. It increases distracted driving incidents. Nothing beats tuning the volume with a knob. I don't want to look at the screen to mess with the ec. I also don't want to constantly clean the smudgy ass screen. I do not like Teslas for that reason. When the screen doesn't work, you can't do anything. I also have an aux port in my 2010 Nissan Versa baby beater. Anyone can play music in my car and it's awesome. Well, now I have a Type-C adapter, but it's still pretty awesome. I never ever have Bluetooth connection issues. Man, I used to have the aux cord that ran from your CD player, and the other end was attached to a cassette tape. 25-year-old Honda Accord with a manual transmission. 23-year-old Forsell Auto Accord here. Drove it off the showroom floor in April of 2000. Knock on wood, the damn thing just will not die, and I've never done anything to it beyond basic maintenance. It's got hail damage, the paint is fading, new rattles pop up every day, and everyone keeps asking me when I'm going to get rid of it. But at this point, I'm just too curious to see what finally kills it. I recently found a 97 Accord with a 5-speed not being used by the owner. Got it for $500. Only 130,000 miles. Thing will still be driving around during the apocalypse. I own my music. I have 100s of CDs, so I still use my CD player and MP3 player. And, to be honest, I still have about 150 vinyl albums I play on occasion. Growing up in the 90s, I developed a large CD collection and have them all in one of those Case Logic binders. I still keep it with me in my car, and it's a wonderful trip down memory lane every time I open it. I laughed and cried a little when my kid's friend asked me what it was, and I said, "Sir," and they followed up with, "What's that?" I still take a notepad and pen into every meeting. Same. My boss, in his 50s, always laughs at me, but I like having that stuff on paper. In my phone or a tablet, I'll wind up deleting it. If I put it on my phone, I won't ever reference it again, but if I put it on paper, I'll see it next time I open the notebook. Plus, physically writing things down helps you memorize them a lot better than typing, in my experience. Still love playing the Nintendo GameCube. Never gonna stop playing Mario Party 7, S-Melee, and Animal Crossing. I have an off-grid cabin in the woods. I have a small PC responsible for recording saving images from security cameras and also serves as a data logger for my weather sensors. It all runs on Windows XP and it's rock solid. I loved your manifesto. Off-grid cabins are the bomb. We should stand united. My family has an old hunting cabin. In it is a 1950s fridge that has pretty much constantly been running since my grandparents received it, used as a wedding present. Some things don't need to be smart when the regular push-button or knob version works fine. Simpler and less things that could go wrong. Like kitchen appliances. A kitchen faucet doesn't need voice commands. My air fryer doesn't need Wi-Fi connection, so I can control it from an app. Somewhat related, I named my BC space heater, sort of a tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that it runs kinda hot and warms the whole room. It's in, I need to redo the thermals in it. One day, I turn it on and it absolutely will not connect to the internet. Laptop, consoles, everything else work fine. Days of troubleshooting later, I was prepared to reinstall Windows because I had tried literally everything. I mentioned it to my dad one day, thinking maybe he could come up with a solution. Long story short, he saw the name, though the actual space heater in the basement had become sentient and blocked it from the network. He thought it was hilarious. My family has an old hunting cabin. In it is a 1950s fridge that has pretty much constantly been running since my grandparents received it, used as a wedding present. Watches that only tell the time. Maybe the date too. Yep, I've a lovely, inexpensive, bomb-proof analog, big-face Casio. Can't wear smart watches at work, so having one would be pointless to me. Big Cass does the job. Are you in defense or something? Who can't wear smart watches? Genuinely curious. Most stockbrokers. No personal phones or other transmission devices allowed on the trading floor because every communication has to go through official company channels and be logged to prove that there's no insider trading going on. Even communication off the trading floor is regulated, hence $549 million in fines issued just 2 months ago for traders using WhatsApp, not necessarily because they were doing anything dodgy with it, but merely because it was impossible to prove that they weren't doing anything dodgy. Lots of contractors out there doing classified work. If you're in a classified space, you can't bring in anything that can transmit. Physical media in general, DVDs, seeds, video games, books, etc. Yeah, it adds to clutter, but most digital services have it in their terms of services that they can remove content even paid for at any time with no refund to you. You're basically paying a float rate to rent it until they can no longer rent it. Come try to remove the physical stuff. It's a felony in most states, and you can have my Buckaroo Banzai Blu-ray when you pry it from my cold and dead finger. My only gripe with my book collection is when it comes time to move, and I have to struggle to move 5 huge plastic tubs of books that weigh like a ton each. How often do you get in fights? I am still transferring MP3s I downloaded from the internet to my phone. I tried Spotify Premium for a year, was not satisfied, and many old songs I like are not available. But by manually downloading FLAC MP3 or so, I can get many unusual things like my country's flag carrier playlist, remastered bass-boosted, remastered bass-boosted, remixes, covers, etc. I've got 578 GB of MP3s and still use Winamp, Edit, just to add some nostalgic memories. I remember downloading single songs using dial-up at like 1-3 key beeps. And later when I moved to the city and got cable internet at like 50 kbs, I was in heaven. Using F-serves on Merstalnet to get music. Back then I had a 20 gig HUD full of M3s and I was amazed. Edit 2. This is by far the most popular comment or post I have ever made on Reddit. Little did I know how my reminiscing about Winamp would resonate with Plant. It really whips the llama's ass. Still. 64. A calculator. You know, with buttons and a screen. Honestly, a standard scientific calculator is just easier to use than your phone's built-in scientific calculator. Can I write boobies upside down on it? Yes, but I forget the rest of the joke that adds up to boobies, so I just type that. Spaspet. My Zune, I still use it. iPod Classic, 160. iPods just have aged so well. Being offline devices, not counting touch, they're just so perfect to this day. I've been fixing up a few lately. Textbooks, bro. Not even technology. Why is everything online now? I need the ability to highlight something. I have an iPod Nano 6 that I still use. It's only 64G but holds like 40 hours of music. It's plugged into my car stereo's US port. I used to wear it as a wrist watch before the Apple Watch came out. My film cameras. What I would give to have back the headphone jack in my phone. Drives. Sadly, most modern computers have no drives, so external is the only option. Wired earphones. Cheap, don't have to charge, don't need to worry about losing them. Bring 3.5 back for phones, damn it. I just bought myself a couple of USB-C to 3.5 adapters, one to use with wired headphones, and one to keep in the drawer for when I lose the one I'm using. Yep, market is saturated with bat buds, and I've tried several. There's something wrong with every model I've tried. Either uncomfortable drops connection, poor microphones, crap noise cancelling, crap battery. Recently got a phone with 3.5 headphone, jacky. Immediately bought some wired buds. Zero issues. I'm looking after this phone like it's my second-born child. A pen. Works just fine when I need it. Sell me this pen. I'd rather use my MP3 player with wired earbuds than play music through iTunes on my phone. Sell me this pen. I have a hand crank and opener. I also have a lawnmower without an engine. Edit. I also drive a stick shift. I have a hand crank can opener. I've never understood the point of an electric can opener, to be honest, except maybe in cases where someone doesn't have two fully functioning hands. A good cast iron pan is still superior to anything that has been invented since. I have a hand crank can opener. I've never understood the point of an electric can opener, to be honest, except maybe in cases where someone doesn't have two fully functioning hands. Manual transmission. I store my passwords in a physical pen and paper notebook. I am not impressed at the notion of storing passwords in some sort of cloud-based solution.